Andrew Warren, the state attorney suspended by Governor Ron DeSantis, vows to fight what he calls Governor Ron DeSantis' abuse of power. DeSantis focused heavily on Warren's signing of statements where prosecutors from across the country said they will not use their offices to pursue criminal cases against seekers or providers of abortion or gender transition treatments. Joining me on the morning show, Hillsborough State Attorney Andrew Warren. Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce. How are you today?
Very well. Thanks for being here. Let's start with this.
Of course.
Governor said, when you flagrantly violate your oath of office, when you make yourself above the law, you have violated your duty, you have neglected your duty, and you're displaying a lack of competence to be able to perform those duties. Has any case come before you that you refused to prosecute?
No, zero, zilch. I mean, the governor wasn't able to identify a specific example where I wasn't following the law. And in fact, this is about my opposition to two issues which have become his favorite culture war divisive issues: abortion and transgender healthcare. And no case on either of those issues have come before me. The abortion law was found to be unconstitutional. There is no transgender healthcare law for me to prosecute in Florida. This is like the governor accusing me of robbing a bank, but then admitting, one, I didn't take any money, and two, the bank doesn't even exist.
So you have not violated your oath of office. You signed a letter, as did 90 others. You vow you will uphold the state constitution, plain and simply. And some of the matters in that particular letter that you signed involve laws that don't even exist in Florida. So what legal leg does the governor have to stand on?
Well, Bruce, you just summed up the whole argument, right? He doesn't have a very strong leg to stand on. And that's why we're going to be hitting back with a forceful defense of democracy that just shows how blatant this overreach is. But keep in mind, this isn't just about me. This isn't about one elected official. This affects and implicates not just every elected official in the state of Florida for years to come, but the voters too, and the integrity of their vote to matter and have the person in office who they elected. So that's why we're making sure that we get it right. I invite people to come join me in that fight at andrewwarrenfl.com, but we'll be fighting back hard.
There was no misconduct, no investigation. You were elected by the people of Hillsborough County. Does a state attorney serve at the whim of the governor?
Absolutely not. The state attorney in Venezuela may serve at the whim of the king, but here in America, we still have elections and elections still matter. This is just a dangerous attack on free speech. And the governor is doing it to further his own political ambitions in his attempt to run for president. And it doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, neither. Everybody should be outraged. I mean, everybody should be worried about what they have to say now. Think about who the governor has already attacked. First, it was businesses, then teachers, now public servants. Who's next?
In every case, a state attorney executes some discretion. Let me ask you quite pointed and blankly, if someone breaks the law, violates the Constitution, would you prosecute?
Yes. I mean, that's what we have done. Now, keep in mind that not only do prosecutors exercise discretion, not only do they have to exercise discretion at all stages, from charging to prosecution to plea negotiations to sentencing, they're ethically required to exercise discretion. And that's what we've done. We've exercised it within the law. That's what we'll continue to do. When I was sworn in, I put my hand on the Bible and I swore to uphold the U.S. and the federal constitutions. That's exactly what we've done. And the governor has no evidence to the contrary.
Florida Senate determines whether this suspension stands. You see the governor's move as purely political. Do you have concerns politics will come into play in the state Senate's decision? And if so, what's next?
Well, I do have those concerns, but I hope that the Senate sees this for what it is, not just about me, but about democracy in Florida. And the fact that with a Republican governor who's shown he's willing to abuse his power, does that put every Democratic elected official in jeopardy? And in the future, if there's a Democratic governor who has this freedom to abuse his power in the same way, what does it mean for Republican elected officials who say something that that governor may disagree with? I mean, again, this has huge implications for democracy in Florida, which is why we're fighting back so hard.
Andrew Warren, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.